Jags and the Bengals. Cincinnati wins this game despite Joe Burrow getting hurt, and looks like Joe Burrow is going to be out until middle of December, if at all this season. If you want to bring him back in the middle of December, obviously if they're in the hunt.
But a question of if it's even worth it.
Right, if they're not in the hunt, then obviously he's just going to be shut down for the year with a really bad case of turf toe that he's going to have to surgery on. At least I feel like I've seen conflicting reports. But it feels like he's going to have surgery. Anyways, Bengals do win this one. They're 2-0. Bengals fans feel good about it. I know our producer Eli doesn't feel good about it, but 31-27. Just heard a big note from the other side of the glass. With the Cincinnati Bengals winning, though, they get the honors of the first 5 players in their top 5 here. Wide receiver Jamar Chase, unbelievable game, even without Joe Burrow. 88.1. Right behind him, Cam Taylor-Britt, their cornerback, 86.6. Edge rusher Trey Hendrickson right behind him with an 84.5. Safety Dax Hill, a 74.9. Then offensive tackle Orlando Brown Jr., a 72.5. Jake Browning in this one, 57.1. Could have been worse. Could have been worse, Dalton.
Did enough.
On Jacksonville's side of things, linebacker Devin Lloyd, a 90.4. Big interception in this one that really pumps that grade up. Edge rusher Trayvon Walker, great day with an 87.7. Offensive guard Ezra Cleveland, a 78.5. Safety Eric Murray, a 76.8. And then at number 5, edge rusher Eric Armstead with a 75.2. Trevor Lawrence in this one, a 58.1. So him and Jake Browning finished with just about the same PFF passing grade. Stat that told the story here, Dalton.
It doesn't. The Bengals are 2-0, and it feels like to me. I know it's early, and maybe Jake Browning's got some miracles in him against good teams. It doesn't even feel like it matters at this point. I'm kind of with our couple of our producers back there. Where
who's their next 12 opponents? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's it.
I can tell you the next 4, and it's not a whole lot of fun.
Oh, who's the next 4?
Minnesota, Denver, Detroit, Green Bay. And
they better hope that they beat Minnesota. They better hope that Minnesota hasn't figured it out.
It's going to be 10-7, isn't it? It's just look.
Why don't we 10-7? Jake Browning out here dealing.
The story.
Dealing yesterday.
The story.
Dealing.
Is the fact that even Jake Browning, and he got rid of the ball very quickly, smartly. They just have no offensive line. We've done this for years. Look, a 58.3 PFF grade for their offensive line in this game. Joe Burrow, 17 dropbacks. He's pressured on 9 of them, and he gets hurt. They can't run the ball either. 2.8 yards per carry, 12 yards before contact the whole game. The Bengals, it's a bigger thing than this game. Actually, the result from this game that matters most is actually the Jaguars losing, because they should not have lost this game. The Bengals, in 4 of Burrow's first 5 years, have had a bottom 5 offensive line in our grading, 28th or worse. There was 1 year, I believe, they were 20th or 21st. And you know where they're at right now through 2 weeks? 29th. We just keep doing this. Dalton Reisner's out there playing. They've had him for 2 weeks. We got a late third-round rookie starting at left guard. We got 2 tackles that aren't getting the job done. I mean, when does it end? When does it? It's just Andrew Luck? Is this what we're doing? Because the Bengals, this is the problem they've never fixed. And they don't want to pay Trey Hendrickson, fine. They don't want to pay Jesse Bates, fine. Where's that money going? I mean, I get it. Burrow and Chase and Higgins, yes, they're your primetime players, but none of it matters. You can't. I say it all the time. You cannot win a Super Bowl with a bad offensive line. And now you're in a worse place than ever with your franchise quarterback now, maybe with a season-ending injury or a season-crushing injury. I mean, we've had a torn ACL. The wrist was more of a weird thing with him. But either way, every year, Joe Burrow gets hit too much. They lost a Super Bowl because they could not pass protect. And yet they've had the same offensive line, basically, they've had since that Super Bowl. They didn't do what the Chiefs did and go, oh, shoot, let's rebuild the whole thing when they lost to the Bucs. Let's get 5 new guys in here and restart it and try to win a championship. The Bengals I don't know, did they just not believe in blocking? Every other team in the AFC North, even the Browns, they believe in blocking people. And the Bengals just don't. And in week 2, I'll throw it out. It's costing their season. What are you going to do for 3? You can live for 2 weeks with Jake Browning. What are you going to do for 3 months with Jake Browning? And I'm not trying to disrespect him. He played well enough to win this game. Mm-hmm. And Jacksonville made some weird decisions down in the red zone and all. But at the end of the day, the one guy who made the Bengals a threat is now out for at least 3 months, if not the whole year. Because for the 10th year in a row, or 6 in Burrow's case, they can't block anyone. And we're just going to go down the Andrew Luck route, apparently. That's bigger than them winning 2-0. I don't even care that they're 2-0. I really don't. It doesn't matter.
I think the bigger takeaway in this game is the fact that the Jags lost this one, because I feel like
short term, yeah, absolutely.
When Burrow goes out, Jacksonville should have won this game. The stat that told the story for me is on the Jags side of things. They were 3 for 6 in the red zone. They were 0 for 2 in goal-to-go situations. Not ideal. Not great. Now, one of those situations was the 4th and 5 situation at the end of the game where they're up 3. They have a chance to kick the field goal to go up 6, but Liam Cohen opts to go for it to obviously try to get the touchdown. And he was asked about it afterwards, and he says, well, he did not waver at all whatsoever. He said it's a 100% go in every analytical data point. Like, it's absolutely a you go for it on 4th and 5. And I do understand what he's saying, because it's even more than if you kick a field goal, you still allow the other team to go down and beat you with a touchdown, which it doesn't really help you to go. Like, okay, like forcing overtime is not the goal. Like winning the game is the goal. So with that in mind, them kicking the field goal doesn't really do anything for them. And you have to think about this too. If they kick the field goal, they're up 6. They then have to kick off. And with the new kickoff rules, there is a much better chance of them starting that drive on the 30-ish yard line, which is much closer to where they need to be for the goal, as opposed to if you go for it on 4th and 5, they start that drive. You're still up a field goal, and they start that drive at their own 5-yard line. Now, it obviously didn't matter, but it wouldn't have mattered if they would have kicked the field goal. And I think like that's the whole point, is they're trying to win the game. They're trying to score the touchdown to where they go, we don't care what you do after this. You can score a touchdown. It doesn't matter. We're going to beat you. So I can understand that part of it, but not finishing in the red zone is bad for them, especially down the stretch, which sort of ropes me into my most disappointing, which is Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. in the red zone, 35.8 receiving grade. He has 12 targets and just 4 catches. He is only 1 for 6 on contested catches this season. He was 8 for 17 last season. I mean, there were times when the ball hit his hand or was close to it, and he either just straight up dropped it, or you could tell he did not want to get hit. Like, he just was not nearly attacking the ball the way that you need him to. He wasn't playing as strong as he needed to at the catch point. And I don't know, some guys just have off days, but they needed more from Brian Thomas Jr. And it wasn't just a Sunday thing. We're now 2 weeks in, and again, he is 1 for 6 on contested catch opportunities, and he has a below 40 receiving grade in the red zone. The red zone is, of course, about precision, technique, execution. The red zone's also about you wanting it in a lot of ways. And I did not feel like Brian Thomas Jr. was attacking the football the way that I even saw him last year, the way that I saw him do so when he was at LSU. So I don't know what's going on, but they certainly needed him to show up more, and he did not in this game. So the lack of red zone conversions and then also not getting enough out of their star player, I think, was a major issue for why the Jags ended up losing.
No, he has to be their best player. That's the entire idea of this, is that Trevor Lawrence has 2 primetime targets in Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, and Hunter hasn't gotten off to a great start as a receiver either. They're trying to figure out this offense as they go. But I think when you look at this offense and what they need to, and look, when you have a new coach and a new play caller and Trevor Lawrence is back from injury, the red zone is going to be a hard part of it. But against this team, you have to finish drives. And to your point about going for it on 4th, I think the math changes maybe a little bit because it's Jake Browning instead of Joe Burrow. I do think the field position point is a good one. And even then, you're up 3, and there is a decent chance the Bengals could go down and kick a field goal, and we go to overtime. And that's kind of a safety net. I really think in that spot, a coach would say to his players, it comes down to, look, we still had a lead. This team had to go 93 yards with their backup quarterback, and we didn't get it done on defense. Too many penalties, too many mistakes. The coverage was off all day. They were not good in coverage, even with Burrow out of the game. They just have to execute better all the way around, and they didn't. And now they're 0-2 in Oh, sorry. The Jags are 1-1. They beat Carolina last week. I mean, they could be easily 2-0 when you just look at they just needed to come out here and execute just a little. It's the little things, right? It's the little things that a new coach is trying to instill in this team, and right now they're just not all the way there yet.
Most impressive is Jamar Chase. 16 targets, 14 catches, 165 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. But with Jake Browning, still 12 targets, 10 catches, 128 receiving yards. He seems pretty QB-proof.
Live and die with your best players.
And you've got to be able to do that. Anybody else you want to shout out before we get out of here?
No question, their best offensive player is Jamar Chase. No question, their best defensive player is Trey Hendrickson. I mean, it's just going to be – is he going to have this whole contract thing and join the team a week before the season and come out and win Defensive Player of the Year? Is that what we're doing? 82.6 pass rush grade, six pressures. The entire rest of the team had 5. Is that? I
mean, it's what we've talked about all offseason.
Is he going to?
They can't win without it.
Is he going to turn around and win Defensive Player of the Year and then get a huge contract? Is that what we're doing?
I feel like everyone's already given it to Micah. Like everybody's already just
come on,
Micah.
Trey. We've never had an FAU player win Defensive Player of the Year.
I just think that it's Micah's award to lose at this point. He has so much media hype behind him that even if he's close in the conversation, I think they're going to give it to him.
The media hype awards. Hate that. I mean, we're part of it, but, it happens.
Yeah, but we're fighting for the truth.